Hi there. So things don't always go as planned. We know that, right? I started this tumbler yesterday. Beautiful glitter, right? It's from the Spittin' Llama Imagination. If you have Fran's glitters, Heavenly would be a great alternative. So pretty. So my initial plan was to do watercolor swirl, right? With maybe like some gold paint veins, whatever. Fail. So I came out this morning to clean it off, and this is what I was left with. That was pink, that was purple. And the paint pen, even though it was on top of the ink, will not come off. I got a lot of it off, so I'm not mad about kind of the distressed little bit that's left. So we're just rolling with it. I really like the base of this cup. I really liked the overall direction my cup was headed, but it did not turn out like it was supposed to. So what I'm gonna do, use these little makeup brushes that I bought forever ago and dab the inks on there. If that is covered up, great. If not, and it peekaboos, great. I don't care either way, because I like that overall kind of leftover, and I'm not mad about it. I messed it up by putting way too much right here in the middle. It did not look right. And then I messed it up further by doing a silver, and the tip is nowhere near thin enough. I really did a number on it. I had also originally started with just this kind of sponge, which is all fine and dandy, but I ended up switching to this sponge. So I'm just gonna jump straight to this one for this go around. So I'm just gonna do a couple of drops of the pink on here. I will say that other sponge, it hardly took any inks to get the coverage that I wanted. I'm just gonna kind of go in this little swirl pattern. Ooh. Got away from me. Nice thing about this is if you get it off quickly, it comes right off. Except for the paint, obviously. I did discover yesterday this is not very bright, so I switched to just straight magenta, which looks very neon today. It did not look like this yesterday. So I'm going to do one layer, and then I'll go back and I'll tap over it to kind of give it a little bit more depth. Some little darker spots and kind of ease it up like that. I don't want solid lines, so what I'll end up doing is going over it with a little alcohol diluted here, kind of soften up those edges. Or possibly just spray alcohol there and just keep going. Kind of soften it up that way. I'm gonna switch to this. It looks very orange when I spray it with alcohol, and it looks really orange here, but in my experience from last night, it didn't really stay that way. It faded back to normal pretty quick. And I can't really see my gold, so what I'll end up doing is gold flake. After I'm done with my inks completely, throw a little tacket on there. Be really pretty. I just got my 91% right here. I know my little handwritten tag says something different, but it's 91. These cute little tags right here, those are from Sparkle Monster on Etsy. put her shop in the description. She has several different options. Okay, so see how that's kind of doing some dark and some light? That's exactly what I'm going for. So now I'm gonna switch over to purple. I'm just gonna stick with the method I did here, do it mostly with this, and then go over it with the sponge. So I tried doing turquoise. It was not very dark at all. So I'm going over it with lake blue. And then I've already kind of dabbed it a little bit with the alcohol spot here. That's where some of those little spots are coming from. So I'm just kind of going back over it again, just because it kind of broke up more than I was anticipating. And then I'm going to do purple right there. This literally only takes like a drop at a time on this type of sponge. It's kind of nice. But that's more the watercolor look I was going for. I did not achieve that yesterday. Like, not even close. And I am gonna kind of break that up a little bit with alcohol right there. Actually, let's just spray that tip right there. I kind of overshot it on purpose so that it didn't get too wet. Just want to kind of soften it just a little bit. Really, like, there's no rules on this. You just kind of do whatever you like, whatever catches your eye, whatever you think looks nice. There's really not any rules on this. It's really nice. That's the really nice part about it. But I am going to go ahead and do a little pink while I'm thinking about it. Just kind of get some more on there. When I was kind of spreading it out or thinning it earlier, it just kind of over thinned. I think I had my sponge a little too wet, but that's okay. With alcohol inks, you just do it again, go over it. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep kind of tinkering and playing with this, and then I'll come over here and do a little bit of purple. That's pretty much what I was going for. Kind of like you have cells when you do an acrylic skin pour. That's really what I wanted to have on there, was like little, almost like cobblestone-y looking. You can't see it as easily in the pink on camera. I see it definitely more in person, which is great because that's what I wanted. So what I'll do is after this dries, I'll kind of go and just do like little bits of tack it and do some gold leaf, possibly silver leaf. I think that would be really pretty. I originally went with gold because I wanted the contrast from this, but I think I'm leaning more towards silver after I've thought about it for a good bit of today off and on and talking it out with a coworker. So let that dry. That way I don't accidentally smear anything. It won't take that long to dry. Alcohol inks are pretty quick. I am going to clean off my little tag right here though. That way I don't accidentally have a random smudge there. Yeah, all better. I'm pretty much going to use parts of my gold lines that I didn't get off as kind of my guidelines. I'm not married to that. I'm just going to go with it. So I've got a little bit of tack it right there. This thing literally exploded when I opened my bottle. It's here, it's under the cup. I had to wipe it off the cup. It was a mess. I'm just gonna kind of loosely base it. Like I said, I'm not married to that. This is a cup for my husband's coworker. Said her favorite color is pink, so I want to do something with pink, but I didn't want to overly girlify it, you know. Just a little something. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm pretty sure I said that like 30 times already. I apologize. I kind of don't want any over there off to the side. I kind of want to just keep it in between the colors. I may go back and add some more later. All right, so we're gonna let that dry. You can tell when it's dry. You can already see it over here. It's almost completely clear. When we come back from that, or when we come back for the foil, we'll just put it on there and kind of let the tacket do its thing. Grab a little piece of this. This is gonna be messy because it literally falls apart. You can get silver, gold, rose gold, all kinds of leafing. Several different websites will carry it. This actually happened to come in a kit that I got from the Amazon return store. I can't talk today. And I've used it for quite a bit of stuff. I think the hardest part for this is going to be remembering where all those little spots are. Normally I would just look for the little, like, kind of shiny raised areas. But with the texturing of the modeling there, kind of camouflages a little. It literally breaks up into dust. You could also brush on a little mica on that if you were brave enough and like steady-handed enough. There's another spot. Yeah, just do that on all the spots that I did here. I really don't think that you can see how pretty this is in person. It's so pretty. So now I'm gonna go seal it. I'm so sorry this is shaking. I'm gonna go seal it. Normally I do like a clear Krylon, but I'm gonna grab my triple thick. Just do thin, light coats from far enough away that I don't make this bleed anymore, because I've got it right where I want it. Can't wait to take a picture of this in the like actual sunlight. I'm glad I went with silver too, because you can kind of see the gold peekabooing through, so it kind of gives it a little bit of depth, almost like a under texture. Even though I had it far off and did light coats, it still jacked up my inks. I don't hate it. I'm gonna sleep on it, see how I feel about it in the morning. I'm not mad about it, but I'm a little irritated that even though I was like extra cautious, it still did that. Whatever. We'll see what it looks like in the morning after I've had time to sleep on it. And I'll probably go ahead and epoxy it. It's still pretty, it's just, it changed. It's not what I originally did. It happens. So we'll see what it looks like under epoxy in just a minute. A minute, like a moment your time, like tomorrow night my time. This is under epoxy now. I put just a tiny bit of cosmic additive from Friends in there. There's glitter all over everything. Put a tiny bit in there just to kind of give the top inks just a little extra something, but man, it's still really pretty. Even though, like I just said a little bit ago, these little spots are a little bit more severe than what I was going for, it's still really nice. I think she's still gonna really like it. I'm debating on putting her name on it. I might do like her name right there, maybe diagonal in silver with maybe one of these other colors underneath it, maybe the turquoise or something. We'll see. Undecided, but overall, that's the gist of it. Play with it. You can play with the inks, you can play with the overall style. You can't go wrong. And if you do, wipe it off with alcohol. Try again. I should not have let mine sit overnight. It would not have stained like that if I hadn't, but we salvaged it. It's not every day that I get to actually show the finished product out in the sunlight. It's a little bit overcast, but you can still see it's shiny. I'm happy with it. I like it. So I learned a lot in this process, even though it wasn't exactly what I was going for. It's not far from it, and I think she'll like it. Thanks for watching, and if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave it in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer it. And I will put links to the glitter, the tags, I'll mention the inks that I used and all that in the description. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.